one guy one night in a Del Taco, no joke, 30 minutes while these two drunk Marines literally tried to hit on the girl who was working. And she kept looking back at me with that very lost look of, I don't know what to do. Sorry, I digress. You guys want to hear about Jesse Jesus Carras Soto. At 37, Soto Carras, a member of the Denny Senior Club, was planning to retire from boxing. No shit. But after the victory, he admitted, wasn't sure. Dude,
yeah.
Shut up.
Keeps going. Yeah, I know. No, he
Shut up.
took a lot of punches.
Well, okay, and how many times have we said it on this show? If your goal is to go fight at Fantasy Springs or at the dog track down at TJ or the ballroom out in Ontario or the small theater at Madison Square Garden.
He beat an undefeated fighter.
Soto Carras is not undefeated.
No, the guy he beat. Hello? Go back to the guy he beat.
Yeah.
Mencina? What was his name?
I was talking about Soto Carras.
I know that, but now he can't retire. He has a good win. That's another check, Lee. He's going to fight another.
I understand that. My comment about Carras is, as long as he thinks that he's going to be like the champion of Fantasy Springs, he's cool. It's going to be when he gets a fucking wild hair up his ass and go, I got to win over an undefeated nobody.
And you know what? And
I'm going to step it up and take a shot at the big show.
You're absolutely right. This kid was being described as the champion of that casino.
Right.
I guess he had many fights there.
By the way, that format is really common, right? So you make a California state belt. There's no such thing as the California state champion. Like, all that shit doesn't exist. But people pay to see it. You know, Carras probably got like a car or something for winning from the casino. He gets a night out, right? Buy him a couple of hookers, he feels like $1 million.
It's vouchers, food vouchers. They're eating buffet the whole weekend.
No shit.
Yeah.
Right. And he's in shape at 37. I'm not saying 37's over the hill. I'm just saying 37 means, hey, bro. Whoa. Right?
Yeah. No, it was a good
he
fight.
Let's put it all into perspective. You lost to Mauricio Herrera and Juan Carlos Abreu. Like, bro, take a deep breath. You beat a nobody that they were building because he stepped up to a real journeyman who literally just, outboxed a kid. And they tried to give it to the kid.
He didn't
Final
outbox
scores were 95, 95, 97,
He did not
93.
outbox him, though. This was not a boxing match. This was a phone booth fight with a fighter that just... Look, I don't know how to describe it. I wish I had my hour back. I wish I didn't even tune into this thing. I was kind of stuck on watching it just because I knew Carras was going to win. I thought he was going to knock him out. I really did. The kid had nothing. Look, it was kind of pathetic, Lee. This Messia kid, he throws 1,000, 1,500 punches, 2,000.
Right.
I don't know how.
Oscar loves that shit.
Oh, Lee, but it's just pat. Like, there's nothing behind it. It was really sad. Now, I get it, people. He does things that other people can't by throwing 2,000 shots. But it was just so dumb. You don't do this with the vet. All Carras was doing was sitting back and landing the counter punches that were damaging. This kid is throwing. Body shot, left hook, throwing. Right hand, body shot, uppercut. Like, his 15 punches did nothing to the 3 combo counters that Carras was landing on him. It was like, dude, this kid's going to lose. By like round 2, he's cut. He's bleeding from the nose. Oh, it was bad, Lee. Like, you've seen his whole morale just keep declining round after round because it's not working. Whatever he did against all those tomato cans they were putting up in front of him the 17 previous fights.
You built the fighter. Look, I've said this before, Andrew. At your age, we'd just build you up, get you 10-0 against nobodies, right? And we're going to move you right into the title picture.
Yeah, it was a bad showing for him. He's got a lot of learning to do. He basically had no skill.
The reality in boxing is you knock out nobodies, you move up quick, you get a shot at the gold, and we find out whether or not you're worthwhile. I mean,
you lost a 10-round fight to a very seasoned veteran, right? I mean, Jesus Soto Karass should not go 10 hard rounds with an undefeated kid who's probably a decade younger. But he did. And he only did because you had nothing on your punches. These are some of the weakest punches you would ever see in a boxing ring. Yes, the energy, boy, does he have energy. But you can't just you can't constantly throw pit-pat shots while the other guy's timing perfectly timed counter punches on you. You are going to lose that 10-round fight, and he did. I wish I could have bet on it. I don't know what the line was on the undefeated kid who's won. I want to say it was over 10 times. I think he fought in this casino or something ridiculously. He's like, he was the man there. They might have had a line on this fight with it being Soto Karass in LA. Big presence probably on the money. Yeah, fuck, man.
It just means he doesn't have to get a day job yet.
Oh yeah, I know. He was saying his best fighters were Arturo Gatti, basically everyone who was an exciting fighter back in the day, right? He needs to go back and watch those tapes. They weren't just about throwing useless punches. A lot of useless energy, wasted energy going on in that fight, and I think we've done too much. Jesus Soto Karass, he will move on. He will get one more check. He lives on for one more day.
Which takes us to my Friday night with the lovely Contender. So, where do I begin? First of all, I do like the way that they run an event. First of all, none of the media showed up. Ring Magazine didn't show up. Fucking Ellie Skirbach or ES News, right? Ellie didn't show up. He had a seat right next to me. Nobody was there, Andrew. It was me in a big giant pin for media. Literally 3 rows of every form of media, and I was the only one there. So if you watch left-hand corner, look at the stage, left-hand corner, you'll see like 4 people sitting in this giant pin. That's me and the production crew.
Hey Lee, there was a lot of people probably down the street at the Macia fight, right? Wasn't that in LA also? Am I mistaken on that? The fight.
Which one?
Macia and Karass.
No, that's out in the desert, dude. That was out in the desert.
That wasn't in. Oh,
they all went out to go see Oscar's shit. No doubt about it.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they were probably.
They went to Palm Springs
on to ESPN.
Yeah. The fight was at the Contender was at the Forum, and you could tell from looking. I've looked at the video. You could see that there was nobody in the upper decks. Okay, so here's what it was. Here's how they got the floor full. They basically made it Paramount's network night at the Forum. So it's literally everybody from Paramount Studios coming over to watch a fight. So it was this fucked up, super douchey Hollywood crowd that didn't know shit about boxing or how to be appropriate or how to dress to go to a fight or even be allowed out in public. Like, there's just so many things wrong with what I saw.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was one of those.
I think
no media. It's me and basically the Epix and Paramount people. The real fans were in the upper decks because nobody's going to spend more than $31 to go see this. Let's be perfectly honest. If you paid to see this, you got 4 undercard fights at 4 o'clock in the afternoon of previous people that were on the Contender that you've never heard of and didn't give a shit about. Then you had the co-main event and the main event. Now, the only thing that was interesting was Tyson Fury was there. Jesse Vargas was there. Were a lot of boxers. Like, the boxers were really interested in it, and they were interested in it for the right reason. They were using it for media exposure, but none of the media showed up to expose them. Like, it was shocking. Like, any normal night, guys with those little handheld video cameras who think that they're really reporting the news. I always love guys who have little handheld video cameras. Oh, I'm a reporter. Get out of my way.
And you know what's sad about this, Lee, is we got to see if ESPN did better than 475,000 views.
Well, first of all, let's give them credit. They got 475,000 views streaming. I don't know what they did on Epix itself, and I don't know how they're going to rank it. It's a mark per net production. But what I'm about to read you, Andrew, is going to make you violently ill, as well as any fan. This just into the reporter, official as of Friday night, official from the WBA, EPIX Contender Series and World Boxing Association, which I knew about before the fight. I texted Andrew this. The partner to award the champion of the final bout a top 10 ranking in the WBA. What the fuck? You took a nobody and just gave him a top 10 ranking because he was on TV? Aren't you a corrupt organization?
It's happened. It's happened. Remember the ESPN fighter that won that tournament? Was it Willie Monroe?
Here's my favorite paragraph in their press release. Let's see if you can pick up why it's the funniest thing ever. Over the years, 11 contender fighters competed in world championships after appearing on the show, with 5 title winners, including Sergio Mora.
Yep.
Season 1, by the way. Cornelius K9 Bundridge. By the way, he was the WBC Super Welterweight champ. They're only counting WBA titles. Cornelius K9 Bundridge, 2-time IBF Super Welterweight champion, Season 1. Ishe Smith, IBF Super Welterweight champion, Season 1. Sakio Bika, WBC and IBO middleweight champion, right? That's Season 2, by the way, for anybody wondering. And Sam Solomon, IBF middleweight champion and WBF middleweight champion. By the way, Season 2. They don't talk about Season 3. They don't talk about Season 4. You know why? Because nobody from Season 3 or Season 4 ever made it. You know what's going to happen to the guy from Season 5 who's now ranked in the top 10, Andrew?
Willie Monroe, is that what you're talking about?
Well, is that the fuck his name? I mean...
He's fighting Charlo.
No, we're talking about Adams.
Oh, okay. Well, Charlo's fighting for the world title here. Monroe Jr. But he was on the ESPN. I'm sorry, that's not Contender. That's the difference.
Okay. So the main event of the evening, and from all accounts, after talking to EPIX personnel and behind the scenes Mark Burnett people, this entire fight card was stacked to make Shane Mosley Jr. into a WBA top 10 ranked middleweight, right? And by the way, here's what happened at 154 pounds. Spoiler, Shane Mosley Jr. didn't even show up to the fight at all. 3 years after John Thompson knocked out the second run of ESPN's Boxino 154-pound tournament, Adams defeated Shane Mosley Jr. By the way, for those of you who don't know the Adams story, he was out of boxing for 3 years after getting knocked out of the Boxino tournament. Came back to do the Contender. His first fight back in 3 years was the scrubs on the Contender. And then on Friday night in Inglewood, California, Adams beat Mosley decisively. 99-91, 190-190, and my scorecard 190 to win 10-round, 160-pound final and the 5th season of the Contender and probably the final season of the Contender. But we'll see based on the numbers.
Yeah, I don't.
Brandon Adams beat the holy living shit out of Shane Mosley Jr. EPIX aired the finale at the forum. In addition to earning a top 10 ranking for the WBA, the 29-year-old Adams claimed $250,000. Well, 30% of that is taxes. Then his quarter gets 20% as well as the management. Probably got $100,000 by the time everything was said and done. And considering he's from shithole Louisiana and talks, I think he is. I think this kid's. He might have moved to California. But I am telling you, these are some backward-ass fighters. Like, there were people talking. There were 150 kids in the ring. These guys got to put the dick down. Like, every time a fighter came into the ring, there were like 5 children that squirreled in underneath them like zombies.
I got nothing to say there.
You got nothing. Put the dick down. Put the dick down.
Hey.
They don't have real jobs. You're fighters. One shot to the head and you just left them. Well, okay. Let's be honest. Fighters leaving their kids is kind of a common occurrence. Of every race and gender, everybody calm down. It's not a racial statement. It's a fact about boxers and their kids. Fuck. It sucked balls, Andrew, is what it did.
Yeah, I watched 2 rounds, seen Mr. Mosley Jr. doing the shoulder roll with no success, and knew this was going to be a favored in Adams on points. I knew the outcome, obviously, because of you, so I didn't